Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron, and today I'm going to teach you how to fabricate your own transmission cross member. This is what you'd call like a high clearance cross member. It goes, it gives you plenty of room to run your exhaust. It doesn't hang down to where it's going to hit loading a low trailer or something like that. And everything should work out fine. Last time we worked on the burnout truck, I told you guys that I was ready to put the motor and trans in, but I didn't have a tranny cross member. That's why we're building tranny cross member. So, just a little PSA. I have a good friend that has a plasma table, a CNC plasma table. He cut these pieces out for me, but before I show them to you, me and him came up with this idea, him and I, whatever, came up with this idea, and we made all the pieces out of cardboard and kind of taped it all together and made sure it was what we wanted and it was going to work. And then he put it in his program and cut it out. So you can make templates with cardboard, draw it out on your metal, and you can cut this out with a cutoff wheel, a jigsaw, a plasma cutter, torch, just about anything you want. So just because I cut this out on a CNC and it's really clean and nice doesn't mean you have to cut it out on a CNC. I just happen to have a buddy that's got a CNC plasma table, and he was willing to cut it out for me, so it made it quicker for me. So anyways, don't get discouraged and say, oh well, he had a CNC plasma table, I can't do that. You can still do this, you just have to cut it with something different. Honestly, most of the pieces I'll show you here in a minute, I'd have cut with my jigsaw. And the other ones I probably would have cut out on the bandsaw and they'd have been fine. So before we get into that, I'm gonna do another t-shirt giveaway. And I really have mentioned it in the last like 2 or 3 videos. I really want to get 300 comments on a video. So if you're watching the video, get me to 300 comments and I'll give away 3 t-shirts instead of 1. I don't even care if you just click on the comments, put a dang thumbs up or 1 letter or a middle finger, whatever you want to do. Put a comment on there so we can get to 300. That would totally make my day. I'd really appreciate it. But we're doing another t-shirt giveaway. You guys all know how it works. If you don't, all you gotta do is be subscribed, hit the like button, leave a comment. You're eligible to win a shirt. So with that being said, here's our tranny cross member. So I know as of this moment, it probably doesn't look like much, but as I go through it and show you how it's gonna work and start welding it together, it'll make sense. These are our thicker plates. These are probably 3/16. They're gonna go in our frame rails. These are gonna sit here. Like so. And then the other pieces are gonna go in the middle. But even though it was cut on a plasma table, there's still slag and stuff on it. So I got a flapper disc here. First thing I'm gonna do is go around and just clean up all the edges with the flapper disc. And then there's 2 pieces that we're gonna have to bend. I'll show you what we're gonna do with that. Then it'll be time to tack everything together. So I'm gonna clean all this stuff up and then we'll get on to the next part. Okay, now, as you can see, he cut out some Chevy emblems in here just to give it a little character, make it look neat. So that's kind of cool. And these pieces here are the braces for the curved parts here. So we don't have to match the radiuses. They just have to kind of follow the suit. So I'm not going to curve them like that. I'm going to bring them up, over, and down So I need to measure this, which is 12.5, which means our center is going to be 6 1/4, and I'm going to come out 1 inch, 1 3/4 that way, 1 3/4 that way. And then I'm going to double check myself because I'm terrible at math. An 1 3/4. That's 1 3/4. Okay. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay this on it. And if I bend those right there, that's going to put my bends here and here, which will be perfect. And then I just have to bend them down to where my radiuses are going to be good. So what I'm going to do is just trace this one the same because these were CNC cuts, so they're identical. I'm going to draw lines on these. That way I know where to set them up in my vise to bend them. As much as I'd love to take you guys inside and show you how I'm bending these, we've got a project in there you guys haven't seen yet, and I don't want you to see it and start asking questions about it or anything like that until I introduce you to it. So we're going to have to go inside to work on the burnout truck, but I'm going to finish building this cross member out here, and then I'm going to bring said secret project outside and we'll go inside to work on the burnout truck. So I'm going to go in to the vise. I'll put these in the vise and just put a little bit of heat where I need them to bend, and this is 1/8 inch thick steel. I should be able to bend it by hand. I shouldn't have to beat on it with a hammer or anything like that. I should be able to just warm it up with my little torch and bend it, and that's what we're going to try to do. So I'll get these bent, I'll come back out here, and I'll show you guys the next step to what we got going on here. Alright, so I got those bent. I just used the regular handheld propane torch or MAP gas torch and my vise. So next thing we're going to do, I'm going to take my main pieces here and I'm going to measure down 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to measure this overall length. We got 9 1/4, which 4 1/2 plus 1/8. Get our center. And then I want to measure from here to here, which is 7 3/4. That'd be 3 1/2 plus 3 3/4 would be 1/4. 3 7/8, I think. 3 7/8, yeah, okay. So then we'll come over here, measure 3 7/8 on this one. Alright, now, that might be kind of confusing, but this piece should be centered in here, and I only want it to be down 1/4 of an inch. So that's why I made the marks that I made. So now I can line up the center. I can set that on the corner of the I can set that on my 1/4 inch line, and then zap zap, put 2 tacks on it, and that'll hold that there. Now, I'm not real good at explaining stuff as I go, so I'm going to tell you guys right now while I'm thinking about it, but everything on this is just going to get tacked for now. So I'll put tacks to tack this in, and then I'll flip it over and put this and this up against this piece and tack it, and then I'll put my braces in, then I'll tack it, then I'll put my end plates on and I'll tack them, and I'll get everything where I want it, and I'll check it and make sure it's all straight and square and everything else, and then I'll start welding it. And I got to be really careful when I weld it, because this thing's going to try to twist and flex and everything else. And I mean, worst case scenario, I got to take it inside and clamp it down on my fab table so it's all flat and nice when I weld it, which is probably what I should do anyways, but we're going to stay out here and see how it goes. So I'm going to start tacking this together exactly how I just told you I was going to do it, and see how this thing goes together. Okay, got that tacked together, just those little tacks. It's already pretty stout, and when we cut this, we cut little steps in there so that when we go to set these on, we'll set them up against those steps. Measure across here 2 3/4 inches. Maybe I'll put these in first. These just kind of go in. tacked up. So, as you saw, I just laid it on the ground, and it seems to be really flat and straight. Doesn't rock or anything like that. So I'm going to go through and stitch weld it. I'm going to take a quick break and get something to drink, but after that I'm going to just stitch it. Put an inch here, inch there, and then I'll flip it over to the other side on the back side and kind of put stitches in between where I put stitches on the front side, and then like down on the end braces I'll weld those up solid. But for the most part it's just going to be stitch welding, and so I'll do a time lapse of welding that up for you guys so you can see what I do. But other than that, that's about all there is to it. I'm going to weld this sucker up, and we're going to have us a really nice lightweight transmission cross member. I'll be right back. Okay, I got it all welded up, stitch welded. I might have gone a little overkill. I probably didn't need to put as much weld on there as I did, but I stitched it across the top and then stitched it across the bottom. I'm not going to flip it over to show you guys because it's extremely hot. You'll just have to take my word for it. There's a lot of like splatter from the weld in there. I'll have to take a little wizard wheel or sander or something and clean all that up before I paint it. But before I paint it, it's going to be who knows when. Like for today, we just need to get it in the frame with the transmission sitting on it where it's going to be, and then we just need to drill the holes and put bolts in it to mount it to the frame. So I'm going to let it cool off. I'm really excited with the way it turned out. You'll never see it ever, but the Chevy emblems in it are cool as heck. I mean, just a little added character, and you guys will know it's there. I'll know it's there. Just kind of neat. But I'm gonna let it cool off. I'm gonna move special projects out of the shop and stuff to get ready to start putting this motor and trans in here, and then we'll get back on it and get to work. Okay, well, I know I said I wasn't going to sand down and paint the cross member right now. I'm just going to put it in, but I sanded it down and painted it. And I went ahead and cleaned up and painted our solid motor mounts that we made. And I went ahead and cleaned up and painted our engine side motor mounts. Just because. I don't have a reason why, I just did. But all this is just for mock-up. It's all gonna have to come back apart again. But I guess the more stuff that's cleaned up and painted now, the less I'll have to clean up and paint later. So it's been about 2 days since I filmed. I had some family stuff I had to do, so I've only been able to put in like short days for the last 2 days, and kind of just been doing little stuff here and there. Haven't really done anything filmable. Mainly just cleaning up and painting. And I thought I did a pretty good job of stripping this truck when I initially stripped it, but I got underneath. There was still a lot of stuff under there that we're not going to need anymore. There was still some wiring and stuff hanging here we're not going to need anymore. I still need to take the shifter off the column. We're not going to need that anymore. So I think that's about the last thing now. So I'm going to pull that shifter linkage off, and then we'll get the motor mounts bolted to the frame side motor mounts bolted to the frame. We'll get the block side motor mounts bolted to the motor, and then I'll drag the transmission out and show you what transmission we're going to use. in the block, in the head, whatever. Clean the bolts up good. Went to put the bolts in, still didn't fit. Well, they're measured. So. Now I've got nice clean holes in the block, in the head, whatever. And I've got some actual 3/8 coarse thread bolts that thread right into the holes. Big plus. Get our chain hung on here. Now we can get our transmission. No, we're going to move the cherry picker and push the tractor right up to the back of the motor. I think you guys probably heard my dad just ask me. He was asking if I'm putting the torque converter in, and I said no. And I'm also not putting a flex plate in, and it's not because I forgot, but I'm just doing this for mock-up. This isn't going to be permanently installed by any means. It's going to have to come back out at least one more time. Check it out. Put a bolt in, please. Once again, that transmission is, I don't want to say it's junk, but in current condition, it's no good. It needs to be rebuilt. It needs to be upgraded for what we're going to use it for. So right now, it's just for mock-up. Once it comes back out and comes apart, I may try to build it myself, or I may send it off and get it done. It kind of depends on where we're at that point. But got it bolted up. I'm waiting on a transmission mount to get delivered. It should be here any minute. As soon as it gets here, we'll bolt it on that transmission. We're gonna push the old burnout truck forward so we got more room to get at it, and I'm gonna hope like heck we can get the motor and trans in together. I may have to take that tranny back off, hang the motor, put the transmission in with the tranny jack and bolt them up in the truck. We'll see how it goes. Alright, we got the new tranny mounted. My dad's lifting up the cherry picker right now so we can bring it in here. I'm hoping we can maneuver it through here, but we'll find out in a minute. Come towards me and then go in because you want to straddle the tires with the cherry picker. Just steer it that way. There you go. Come towards me. Now start to turn. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you can. Okay, now, hold on. Go down really slow. Okay. Push the jack in with the two. Okay. Alright guys, you watched the other video where I put the rack and pinion in. I was worried about the line that came up and looped over on the rack and pinion, and I had good reason to worry, I guess, because it's hitting on that line and it's not letting the motor come down far enough to put the mounts in. So for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and take that line off, because all I have to do is run a straight line to 90 it instead of having that big loop in it, and it'll be fine. But for right now, since we're just doing mock-up and I want to get the motor in and get the new trans cross member in and make sure it's going to work, I'm just going to go ahead and get that line out of our wafer right now. So I'm going to shut you guys off for a second. I'm going to lift the motor back up a little bit, and then I'm going to take that line off, just get it out of the wafer right now, and we'll get the motor set down, and I'll bring you guys back and show you what it looks like. All right, well, it was a little bit of a fight. Excuse me. It's a little bit of a fight, but that's what happens when you do custom stuff. Nothing fits. You got to make everything work, especially when you make stuff. I didn't do any measuring or set the motor down in there or see how much room I had. Before I did the rack and pinion, I was just like, let's do it. Try to get it down as low as I can, and we should have room. Well, we do. It fits. It would fit a lot better with a V8 because of the way the oil pans are designed. This inline 6 has a front sump that comes down, where a V8 pan comes over the cross member and goes straight up. So that would give us a lot more room. It would work out a lot better, but it does fit, it does work. Here it is. Motor and trans core are sitting in here for the first time, and it's all gonna work. I'm gonna have to get a different fitting to hook that line back up for the rack and pinion, but I haven't yet decided if I'm gonna run the rack and pinion with the power steering or if I'm just gonna run it manual. But either way, I can make it work. I can get another fitting and put that in there and hook the power steering up, or I can just loop the other end and it'll be okay. So here it is on this side. It's in here. Mounts are mounted. All that good stuff. Now, the whole purpose of what I was doing in this video, if I got room to walk around in here, is my cross member I designed and built. So that's gonna hold our transmission in. I'm gonna get a camera set up underneath the truck somehow, show you how that cross member is gonna go in, and see how it works. Okay, hopefully you guys can see what's going on here. If not, I'm gonna have to ask you to reach into the pouch in the seat in front of you and grab the night vision that's been provided. Down here underneath the truck, we don't have a lot of light, but here's our cross member. Kind of angle it, put it in, and what is keeping that from shutting down? well, it looks like I have to take the mount off of the transmission, put it in the cross member, and then put the cross member in, because I can do this. Now hey, just gotta be smart, which I'm not. Do that, and spin this in place, and then set it down. Then we can let our transmission down. So, and before I bolt this cross member in, I want to get this where it's centered. Okay, so you guys probably can't see this, but I showed, if you looked on the cross member, the hole is oblong down the center, and I set this cross member up so that the tranny mount is perfectly centered in there. Now, like I said, this is a universal cross member that will fit any Chevy transmission, because you can use the same motor mount on any transmission. So the motor mount, the O'Reilly's part number for it is an A2360, I believe. And you should be able to use that mount on just about any transmission, and it works with this cross member. So. You got that sitting all the way down now. Up in there. Cross member sitting in there. Needs to be tweaked in just a little bit, but I like it. Looks good. Plenty of room to run. You can run 3-inch exhaust through here with room around the exhaust for the exhaust to move, and it still won't be underneath your frame. So you can tuck 3-inch up in there. That's super cool. Not a lot of them that you can do that with, but I'm gonna go and get a couple of clamps, and I'll clamp this down on both sides, and then I'm gonna have to take a drill and a drill bit and drill up through there, and then we'll be able to bolt it in place. All right, trying to finish this up here. Should have been like a 1 or 2 day project, and I'm not looking for sympathy or anything like that, but I've had a lot of stuff going on for the last week, and now it's D-Day for getting this video up. It's late at night and I'm still here finishing. Had some family stuff go on last week and only got about 2, maybe 3 half days in the shop instead of working all week. Is what it is, but we got it done as far as I wanted to go. I didn't do a real good job filming because I was trying to get it done, show it to you guys. But motor's in, you saw that already. Motor's in, on the mounts, all that good stuff. And we'll get underneath here. And our tranny cross members all in bolt. And as you can see, there's enough clearance that you can fit a 3-inch exhaust above the bottom of the frame rail without it hitting the cross member. Lays in there real nice, bolts up real nice. I'm really happy with it. It's the first time I've kind of gone out on a limb and said, hey, I'm just gonna make my own tranny cross member like this. And it was fun. I'm glad I decided to do it. My buddy had fun helping me do it. And as far as getting the design drawn up on his program and cut on his plasma table. And I've sent a few pictures of it to some of my close friends, and I've gotten really great feedback for it. Everybody wants to know when I'm gonna start making them and how much they cost. Well, I haven't really put a lot of thought into selling them, but if there's a demand for them and people are wanting them and they'll work, I mean, I'll make up a couple. I don't have time to go into full production of them or anything, but you know, I can do a couple here and a couple there and kind of limited runs of them or whatever if people want them. So if you guys are interested in them and you think you might want one, I haven't really come up with a price yet, but leave me a comment, kind of gauge the interest of it. And if I get enough people that like them and want one and everything else, then maybe we'll do a run of them and see how they go. But if I don't get any interest in them, then I've got 2 more here already that I can weld together for myself. And I've already got 2 other trucks I'm gonna need them in. So I like it. I like the way it mounts. I like the way it's got room to run the exhaust where it doesn't have to hang down. Matter of fact, I have to put a new transmission in RJ really soon. And the exhaust on RJ hangs down below the frame and I can't stand it. So I'm probably gonna fab up another cross member real quick and slap it in RJ when I swap the transmission out. So I'll be using them. I'll probably need more for myself before you think whatever. I'll probably need more for myself here soon. So anyways, yeah, so it's done. I wanted to get a little bit of the cage done in this video and whatnot, but we haven't. I've been rolling the vehicle that's on the other side of this door inside and outside and inside and outside and inside and outside, so it doesn't end up in a video. But tomorrow morning, it'll be back inside here in a second. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna roll it about halfway out the door or all the way out the door, and I'm gonna show it to you guys, and I'm gonna get started on a video that you won't see for 7 more days. But I'm gonna get started on it finally. We'll reveal what that project is. So if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you can find out what it is. And we got to 300 comments on the last video. Special thanks to one of you guys who sat up all night and left like 150 comments or something on the video. But either way, we got to 300. I'm a man of my word. I said if we got to 300, sorry, I got splinters in my arm, metal splinters. I said if we got to 300, I'd give away 3 shirts. That's what I'm gonna do. So let me figure out who the winners of the 3 shirts are, and then we'll end this video up. All right, well, that took a little while going through 380 comments, but I'm not complaining. I just did the number generator based off of how many comments we had, and then I had to count through every comment to find the numbers and who it was. So I've got all 3 winners of the t-shirts. Remember, if you win, send me a message on my email that's in the description, a message on Facebook or Instagram Messenger, which both of those links are in the description as well. The winners of the last 2 t-shirts still haven't contacted me, and I will still honor those t-shirts if you get a hold of me. So aerial images by Doug and Mike Hopkins. Your t-shirts are still waiting for you. So you just got to get a hold of me somehow and tell me that, hey, this is my size, this is my address. I'll get them sent out to you. So the winners of the 3 shirts, like I said, 3 from this video are Mickey Howard, Jeff Dillard, and Dale Dassel. If I mispronounced anybody's name, I'm sorry. But hey, this video might not have been the greatest. I got a little bit of work done on the burnout truck. We got the motor and trans mocked up in it, which is a step in the right direction and something I wanted to get done, but I got so many other projects going on, we're gonna have to let it stall back in its corner again and move on. So the thing that's on the other side of this door I keep telling you all about will be the next video, and then the video after that we're gonna be back on that little Scout 800 because I have to get it done because it's somebody's birthday present. So I've got to get that thing knocked out at least to the point that we're going to, so it can get a big old red bow on it and get given to somebody for their birthday. So got a deadline on that one, got to make it happen. Thank you guys so much for watching. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.